Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here as part of the KPFT family. Folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. You will love it because we have a special guest. Anyway, we are going to get right into it. Start in. David Cobb on decolonizing economics. A leak on Discord proves the TikTok ban's a fraud. Guns struck again. David Cobb on decolonizing economics. David Cobb is a prolific political, social justice, racial justice, environmental justice activist, and the people's lawyer. He joins us to talk about the Decolonizing Economics Summit. You know, David and I go back a long time, from Move to Amend to many other places and all kind of organizations. And of course, he's been doing this for decades. David Cobb continues his tireless work to effect positive democratic change. He is one of the key organizers of the Decolonizing Economics Summit, a 3-day conference that serves as a space to exchange experiences and information, strengthen alliances and networks, devise strategies to decenter colonial systems, and implement concrete solutions to heal the land and people. Over 1,000 people participated in 2022. And even more are expected in 2023. And without further ado, David Cobb, how are you doing, my brother?
Oh, Egberto, hawatlo, or howdy, as we say in Texas. It is such a pleasure to hear your voice.
It's a pleasure to hear yours, man. You know, anytime I hear you, I get spirited. I always, let me put it this way. Because like I told you, we go back a long time, and we've spent working Move to Amend, locked into homes, devising strategies all over this country. And there's one thing I can say about David Cobb, and that he's always inspiring, and not only inspiring, because inspiring is not enough. He's always there with concrete policies that say, if we do this. So anyhow, welcome to Politics Done Right, my brother. Talk to me.
Well, thank you so much, Egberto, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to KPFT listeners. For folks who may remember, back in the day, I am a native Houstonian myself. I've been on KPFT Airways many times as a guest and a host. It is my original community radio station, so it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm especially excited to share that this Decolonizing Economic Summit is online and virtual. So if anything you hear inspires and entices you, you can participate simply by going to the website decolonizingeconomicssummit.org. That's 2 S's there. The economics is plural. And join us. It's completely free. You can make a free will donation, KPFT style if you can. But the point is, it is free. And as you said, Egberto, the whole point of this is to come together to develop a shared analytical framework and to make plans that we can implement. Because, I often say that theory without practice is mere contemplation.
There you go.
Practice without theory is just doing stuff. You might do something transformational without a plan, but it'll be by accident. So the point is, how do we sharpen our analysis about what we want, and then how do we develop plans to get there? And where I have been spending the majority of my time is around what the great philosopher Andre Gorz called non-reformist reforms. That is to say, things that we can do right now to make people's lives better, to win achievable reforms, but as part of a strategic plan to undermine the logic of capital, to undermine the power of the billionaire class. And those non-reformist reforms include, but are not limited to, public banking, participatory budgeting, worker-owned cooperatives, community land trust, universal basic income, locally owned energy production and distribution models. The point is, Egberto, KPFT listeners, these things are happening in various spots all across the country. What we're trying to do is cohere a broad movement to democratize the economy.
Now, anybody who goes to that website, because again, first of all, like David said, it is free. It's a free conference over 3 days. Will actually see the number. Every time I go there, it seems like the number increases. The number of participants grassroots and other groups that make up a part of this network that you're putting together. Like you said, last year you had 1,000 people. You're likely to have close to 2,000 this year, which is sort of a wonderful thing to see that people are realizing that something that we've been preaching here, David, and I want you to pick up on this for me, is that a lot of people are feeling down. They feel like they can't make a difference. It's all over. We just have to oblige by what's going on now. You've always been able to show folks that no, it is just going to be what you make it to be. Why don't you expand on that?
Well, thank you, Egberto. And I'll be very candid and transparent with you and KPFT listeners, and that is this. It depends on what side of the bed I get up on. Mm-hmm. Because some days I get up and I think, oh, my God, there's no way that we can win. The billionaire class has all the power, and they spend billions of dollars every year to suppress our ideas, to propagandize people, and to disempower us and to distract us, right? There's just no way we can overcome that. But then other days I get up on the other side of the bed and I think, there's no way we can lose. It takes them billions of dollars to try to keep people so distracted from what they really want in their hearts, what they know in their head we really need. So I intentionally try to get up on that side of the bed every day with the knowledge that people before us have faced even more insurmountable odds. And I mean that clearly. Like, let's look at it. From the abolition of slavery, women getting the right to vote, the creation of the Social Security Administration or unemployment insurance, workers' compensation laws, pure food and drug laws, the labor movement. For goodness sakes, Egberto, the entire history of this country has been people who faced, bluntly, longer odds than we're facing now, and by engaging in serious strategic thinking, collective organizing, they made transformational change. We can do it too.
Absolutely so. And, when you said it depends on what side of the bed you get off, right? I'm like, well, somehow it must be that I only find you when you get off on that other side of the bed. Because I've never heard the other part before. It depends on what side of the bed I get off. But, the truth of the matter is that I am starting to see effectively over the last several, and not only the last several months, but over the last several years, a larger percentage of people engaging, which is, I remember you and I sitting down talking, and you said, Egberto, if we get to, I think the number was 3%. You said at 3%, we really have that movement that's actually that is actually probative. Your thoughts on that, or your comments on that?
Yeah, well, that's actually, that 3% comes out of the work of Gene Sharp, who studied revolutionary processes. And I want to, in the spirit of the great African revolutionary Amilcar Cabral, mask no difficulties, tell no lies, claim no easy victories, because we are seeing a 3% tipping point of folks, not just who agree with us, but who are willing to collectively act in concert. I'll tell you this, Egberto, the left, and I mean explicitly the left, not just soft left liberals, but the left, I believe we have enough power and capacity to greatly influence the U.S. empire. I don't think that we're in a position to overtake it at this moment, but we could absolutely have so much more import and effect. But the problem is that we are not sufficiently coordinated.
Right.
We don't really know each other, and we don't have a program and a plan, right?
Exactly.
So that's part of what this Decolonizing Economic Summit is to bring us together into deep strategy around this. The second thing I want to be candid about is the far right and the fascists are equally approaching that 3% of folks who are ready to throw down.
Oh.
I say it with clarity and no happiness, but with sincerity. I believe that we are witnessing the neoliberal center collapsing, and there's either going to be some version of what I'll call eco-socialism or a decolonized return to power with regenerative economics and collaboration and sustainability, or some version of fascism. I just don't see, in this historic conjuncture and in this moment, those two things being able to coexist. One side or the other will be the dominant narrative of this country and indeed of the world.
The thing that concerns me the most when we as we are talking these issues, right, is what a large percentage of the population that doesn't see what's really getting ready to happen. And a lot of it has to do with us being centralized solely here in the United States and not seeing all the other things that are occurring throughout the world that shows that we're in trouble. Your thoughts?
Well, I am glad you brought it up and said it so explicitly. Here's my big picture view, Egberto, that we are at the beginning of a global ecological collapse. It's not coming, it's here. It's
Right.
in the beginning stages of true collapse. But wait, there's more, because we're also not just at late-stage capitalism. This is end-stage capitalism.
Right, Richard.
And by that I mean there's always been internal inherent contradictions of capitalism. But I'm saying something different. I'm saying that today with automation, technology, robotics, that what we're seeing is the mass transformation of social, political, and economic relationships. The ruling elite can no longer extract the surplus value of the worker for profits because we are moving into literally laborless or workerless production. It's beginning. The digital fabrication world, this new era, the reason that you're seeing fascism emerge now is because of the political crisis that's coming. We have an ecological crisis, we have an economic crisis, and those two crises are creating a political crisis. And the political crisis is not that, the ruling class cannot solve racism or sexism. The ruling class in this political system was never designed to do that. I'm saying something different. I'm saying that the current political system cannot actually maintain order. That's why we're seeing the January 6th insurrectionists. Now, I take it as my job, Egberto, to bring as many people as I can into the worldview of eco-socialism and recognizing that there is enough for everybody to not just survive, but to thrive, to live rich and meaningful lives without exploiting anyone, without oppressing anyone. But the fascist worldview of, nationalism and hyper militarism, like that's a lie, but it appeals to some segments. So people who are already fascists, I've kind of given up on them, but I am still constantly trying to persuade people to break to progressive populism.
It's interesting because I've had this discussion. I've interviewed Richard Wolff, economist, Professor Richard Wolff from I think Amherst, about 3 or 4 times, and every time I interview him, it comes to you're at the point where you said, "My God, we're at end state capitalism," and every time that I've spoken to him, each time, probably 6 months apart, he comes closer and saying, "We're almost there." And we take a look at what's happening on the banking system right now. I have a young man, Patrick, that's going to be discussing this issue called the con that we have going on in our economic system. That's all provable, And when you state it, and that you're doing a conference, a summit, to kind of highlight these issues with people, I think it's very important. Tell us a little bit about this summit again for those who are maybe joining us late, because I think this is important for people to get there, and also what happens after the summit. Where can people find the information that was developed throughout the summit?
Well, thank you for that, and I'm happy to tell you that Professor Rick Wolff will literally be on a panel with our good friend Kali Akuno of Cooperation Jackson and others on the subject, what is to be done.
Right.
And we'll also have Emily Colano, co-coordinator of the U.S. Solidarity Economy Network. Mm-hmm. We'll have a host of national leaders and thinkers. Decolonizing Economic Summit.org is an online invitation to strategize what is the world that we want to live in and how do we get there. How do we both decolonize and also meet people's material needs right here, right now? And I'm also happy to tell you, if you register, it will put you in line to get the recorded sessions of every single one of these sessions.
So, folks, don't forget, register where again for that free conference?
Decolonizing Economic Summit.org.
And folks, in in this life, there's not a whole lot of free conferences anymore. This is going to be well worth your while. And when you go to that website and see the amount of grassroots organizations that are actually doing things, and of course, David played a very important part in getting all of this organized, as he always has. So it is important, folks, that you go to the website, sign up as he says. There will be you will be able, even if you don't catch it in real time, you'll be able to get all parts at subsequent time. But it's something to be seen. When we talk in this speech or this discussion here, it brings back memory of that documentary that we made, Legalize Democracy. And why don't you? Because I think some of that is in some of the context that we covered, where we went from this sort of a society that was very limited in access to for the majority, slowly building up. Why don't you kind of elaborate some on that and how it relates to what you're doing?
Well, thank you for that. So, listeners, as Egberto is referencing, he and I and others formed an organization called Move to Amend, which was a reaction to the horrific Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission that did two things. One, it legalized bribery by saying that wealthy individuals and corporations could give unlimited money in elections. It was premised on two completely illegitimate, two court-created, ridiculous ideas. One, that the expenditure of money is the equivalent of speech. Money is property; it's not speech. Money can amplify speech, which means that the wealthy can shout while the rest of us desperately try to talk to each other. But it's not just that money is speech. It also premised upon the equally odious, equally ridiculous idea that a corporation is a person with inherent inalienable constitutional rights of an individual. So legalized democracy was an effort to teach people the history of not just corporate power, but corporate rule, how the concept of corporate constitutional rights, so-called corporate personhood, has literally made it illegal to have genuine democracy. Because, Egberto, no matter how hard we fight uphill battles to try to get good laws passed, and that's hard enough, but even when we do win them, then corporate lawyers can go into court and argue that those laws have somehow violated the constitutional rights of corporations. That doctrine has been used to overturn environmental protection laws, worker safety laws, public health laws. There's a whole series of them. And deeper still, Egberto, the concept of the threat of corporate personhood has completely diminished most people's ability to think about what is possible. So part of what we're doing at decolonizingeconomicsummit.org is to say, no, we have a vision for a completely different world and a plan to get there. And we're going to have to confront the illegitimate doctrines of corporate constitutional rights just as clearly as we had to overturn the outrageous idea of separate but equal, or the idea that women are not people. Like, at the end of the day, we're talking about peaceful revolution.
Absolutely. So, folks, I want to give a little bit of context to something that you said there with the corporate personhood. That, when we talk in that terminology, David, sometimes we say corporate personhood or corporations as persons, and people don't quite get it. I just want to illustrate to them. I don't remember if this is one of the things I had in my book or not, but I told them that I usually specify that a corporation, if we the people pass a law, local law, state law, that allows that prevents a corporation from doing something that we feel is materially wrong for our community, that corporation can turn around and sue as a person that what we are doing is infringing on that corporation's ability to make money or do whatever, and we are liable for said damages as taxpayers to give that private corporations because we abridged their rights. Correct?
That is exactly right. And Egberto, I want to lift up the fact that Egberto Viles is not a lawyer. He's a smart person, but has just profoundly and astutely and accurately described that legal concept. And it's ridiculous, right? Remember, Egberto and KPFT listeners, that corporations are artificial entities that are created only through the state chartering process. Anybody can form a business, but if you want the privilege, not the right, if you want the privilege of limited liability, which is literally to say we're limiting our liability to expose for legal harms or remedies that we may cause, if you want that privilege, then only the state legislature, through a governmental action, can grant that privilege. So there is no reason that we, the people, through our elected state representatives, cannot say, if you want this privilege, you do not have, as a group of investors or shareholders, the collective rights. Individual humans have rights, Egberto. Corporations are artificial entities. They're tools, nothing more. They can be used for wonderful things, but more and more, the transnational corporation are used for horrific things.
Great. Well, before I ask you to give us a closer, I want to see if Tori has anything to ask you. Tori is always a good listener. He's doing the engineering for me today, and he loves the work that you do. So go ahead, Tori.
Oh, I've just been a big fan of David Cobb from back when he used to live in Houston, and I remember when he was running for president in the Green Party. I mean, this guy is just extremely impressive. You know, his energy and commitment to all things good. And David, you were my favorite Green Party candidate of all.
Well, thanks. That's an incredible compliment, and especially, I'm not going to out you and your politics by using any descriptive words, but I can say Tori is not usually inspired by any electoral process or a candidate. So I take that as a high compliment.
It's funny, David. I was about to say that. I was about to say, if you're getting a compliment from Tori, you must have been or you must be impressive.
Well, you've been out of the loop for a long time, Dave. I haven't seen you in Houston, and but since this is like from before Bernie got into the national scene running for president. But I've been a Bernie guy for a long time now. So
anyway, give me a closer, David. Let's get on to the other subject. But go ahead and let us know how people can get involved with this again.
Again, it's the Decolonizing Economic Summit. Cleverly, our URL is decolonizingeconomicsummit.org. It's a free conference. Over 1,000 people last year. We expect to double that this year. Come and join theorists, strategists, practitioners who are not just thinking about, but actually doing the work to build from the bottom up eco-socialism from below, an ability to actually engage electoral politics without becoming electoral fetishists, to build the movement that we so desperately need and so richly deserve to transform this society. And I'm going to say not just to create a new society, but return to the society that we lived in before the enclosure movement, before capitalism and industrialism. Remember, Egberto, remember KPFT, every human being alive today descends from indigenous people. It's our birthright to be in right relationship with each other and with land and sea and our relatives, other living creatures.
Well, David, in our chat here, Alistair said, "Hey, brother, I just registered." So,
Hey, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, David, it's always my honor to speak to you. I intend to have you on a hell of a lot of times because we need to make sure that people know that they are already empowered as American citizens to be what they want to be and to have what they've earned. So thank you so kindly for having me.
No doubt about it. I'm going to conclude with this, Egberto.
Yes.
It doesn't just have to be during elections, right?
Absolutely. It shouldn't be only
politics to play, but this work needs to happen in between elections.
My God, I'm glad you brought that up. Folks, we are supposed to be working continuously on guiding, speaking, learning, educating, all of us all together.
All right, brother.
You have a great one.
Opportunity. Thank you, Tori.
Have a great one. Bye-bye. Anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713 526-5738. Anything that you want to talk about with regards to the conference, anything you want to talk about with regards to the topics, please feel free to give us a call. Today's second topic is a leak on Discord proves the TikTok ban's a fraud. And I really mean that. You know, I don't know if any of you ever use Discord, but Discord is just yet another chatting type platform that we use in I mean, it's sort of used not only in the rebel space, but in the strategizing space. It's also used in the grassroots space. I use it along with some of the work that we do in different domains. So here's the deal. Somehow, some believe that TikTok was a problem. But we learned from some of these leaked papers that TikTok is just a diversion. But anyhow, let's go with it this way. A leak on Discord proves the TikTok ban's a fraud. A few weeks ago, I wrote about the TikTok distraction. The leak of classified information on Discord proves that the enemy is really not without, but within. The response by several MAGA Republicans about Jack Teixeira's leaked classified documents proves that even further. The Washington Post article, Discord leaks suggest China doesn't need TikTok to find U.S. secrets, is probative. This is how it starts. On March 23rd, lawmakers crowded into a packed Capitol hearing room to harangue the CEO of the social app TikTok about the company's Chinese ownership and the risk it posed to U.S. national security. Months earlier, President Biden had signed a bill banning TikTok from federal employees' devices to prevent sensitive information from falling into the wrong hands. Before I continue, folks, please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Hit extension number 2. All lines are open, so you can get on right away. You can get on to agree, disagree, complain, uncomplain, and do whatever you choose to do because, as I mentioned all of the times, this is your show. All right. What the members of Congress didn't know was that state secrets had been trickling out for months on social media and were beginning to circulate in ever wider online forums, not on TikTok, but on U.S.-owned Discord, which is something that I pointed out in several articles. We talk about how we are so scared that China is going to be collecting information from TikTok. But that has never been something for us to really worry about in any material form, and I'll talk about that a little later. Anyway, in the 2 weeks after the TikTok hearing, those classified documents would make their way into public view on U.S.-owned Twitter and remain there for days as owner Elon Musk mocked the idea that he ought to remove them. Let's go ahead and bring Jack Haiti in, and then we'll continue with this story. Jack, come on in. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, Berto, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
I was just going to draw a parallel between this, the ability of the corporations to sue entities for the people for profit.
Yes.
And that this is what Haiti is suffering under after the colonization of the French and the Haiti rebellion.
Oh, yes.
The world is seeking reparations on the Haiti people now.
I don't think people understand what you're saying there. Let me break that down a little bit, Jack.
Okay, I'll listen on the air.
No. Don't leave. I don't want you to leave. Because there's more I want to ask you. Here's the deal. This is important. When Toussaint Louverture liberated the slaves in Haiti, okay?
Yes.
It wasn't just a liberation of the slaves. The French came back with not bombers then, but ships, and threatened this new established country, first established country. If you want to remain free, you will pay reparations for you as formerly products, assets. You have to pay for your freedom, because remember, you used to be assets. The land used to be assets. Now you have to repay France for having enslaved you in Haiti and you liberating yourself. That is what it means. Is that what you're talking about, Jack?
Pretty much. I mean, it's a pretty sick scenario, but pretty much, yeah, that's it.
What a lot of people don't understand is that it happened in the United States as well.
I can see it.
It happened in the United States because guess what? Many slave owners sued for reparations for slavery, and guess what? They got it.
The corporations love it, don't they?
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
it's important, Jack. I think Tori wants to say something. Tori.
Yeah, one of the worst parts, probably maybe the worst part of the reparations that France got. This was back in the days of the wooden ships and empires, and France was competing with England for a navy. One of the things that France demanded from Haiti was all their timber. They denuded that entire half of that island
For wood.
For wood, so they could make ships to compete with Britain. And the topsoil got eroded from the rain after all the forests were gone, and it's just raped that land. I mean, it's just terrible what they did to the land. And that's one of the types of poverty in Haiti, is environmental poverty, because of the reparations, France taking entire forests, clear-cutting the land in Haiti.
Yeah, so I mean, Jack, like I said, I have some of the smartest listeners, and so thank you for bringing that up, because I think that is something that very few people know. And the thing about it is, while all those issues covered things like slavery or skin color, for those of you who listen to my show, I always talk now about antiseptic slavery. And when I talk about antiseptic slavery, it actually refers to things that corporations now have the power to do over us by law. So thank you for bringing that up, Jack. Anything else you want to add before you go?
Yeah, I had a thought. Let me see if I can bring it back. It was about, okay, you can I've heard this, but you can fly over Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and you can see the change in color from the forested side to the. So
I have seen it with my own eyes on my trip to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Yes.
And I also want to point out, along with this force of empire, when the Americas were settled, they almost wiped out all the indigenous populations and the indigenous populations of the animals that the indigenous people lived on.
The buffalo,
etc. Yes. So this is the force of empire.
Exactly
that's
right.
My comment.
Well, thank you so kindly, Jack, for always having something to say. Anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I was about to throw my cell phone number. I've been just throwing things all over. I had a whole lot of calls that I had to send in today. It is amazing. But anyhow, folks, I want to thank you guys for listening. Let me continue with the assessment on TikTok that we were speaking about. For those who are just joining us, TikTok as it's not really the problem. Okay, let's go to line 2. Bring in Alistair. Alistair, come on in. How are you doing, my sister?
Hey, brother. Okay, before we get back on the TikTok,
yes,
I need to talk about how, with the reparations the French ordered from Haiti and all of that for lost assets. And how we have people in our country asking for reparations because of, serious problems from being enslaved.
Right.
One of the arguments against reparations is, where do we start? And I think the best place to start is, well, how much money was paid by former slaves to their enslavers when they got their freedom? That's a great place to start.
Yeah, I mean,
and then figure in oh, I don't know, the cost of living over years, and the value of the dollar over the years, and it can be dispersed.
The interesting thing, Alistair, right, is a listener called or contacted me once. I had mentioned the word reparation on this show, and I don't talk about reparation a whole lot, but I think I was talking about the ADOS movement, etc. And when I brought, he wrote me a letter and he said, I am a big supporter of politics done right and all of that, but you lost me. He didn't mean he stopped listening. He said, but you lost me with your commentary on reparations. What? And he asked the same question you asked. Where do we start? How do we handle that, right? Alistair, we accidentally knocked you off. We'll pick you up. Just call back and we'll pick you back up. Whoop, we just lost another one again. Oh, my God. All right, folks, we're having a little bit of telephone problems. Please call back. Please call back. We'll get that fixed. Please call back. 504, come on in.
Hello,
Yeah.
It's Ray.
Ray, talk to me, Ray.
Yeah, Egberto, just wanted to highlight that interview you had
Yes.
with
David
Marion
Cobb.
Williamson.
Oh, with Williamson. Okay, got you.
Yeah. I actually wanted to speak on it some time ago, but my schedule, I just had gotten to it. But Mr. Cobb, I did catch some of what he was saying, and it's some deep stuff. But going back to that interview with Marion Williamson,
Yes.
as pertains to our political system, I find it, brave that she is, going against the establishment. And as a Bernie guy, I know, if she was to get the backing of Bernie Sanders in her bid, which I'm very sure that Bernie would be reluctant to do because he's built such a relationship with Biden
Right.
in pushing his agenda forward. But if Bernie took that step forward, it would legitimize her as a candidate, in my opinion. But I feel like she already has a lot of great progressive ideas. Just unfortunately, the field was so crowded when she entered.
Right.
She really didn't have the standing. But she made a good point. She made a great point. And what she said is, if the founders of this great Constitution that we have wanted the standard for a president to be higher, they would have made it. They would have pushed an amendment, and they would have ratified it if they wanted it to be that way. But, until Trump came along, I didn't realize how low the standard for running the country was.
Ray, I think that all the time. It's like, my God, that, but you know what still gets me, Ray? And Johnny, I'm coming to you next. You know what still gets me, Ray? That people still, the news media talks about him as if he really is president material. And they would talk about an intelligent person that's going to college or high school. I mean, it drives me crazy when I see that. So you're absolutely right about that. Now, Williamson has, Williamson, if she were to make it, the attacks that are going to come specifically because she's a woman and because she has some alternate beliefs that has nothing to do with whether she'd make a good president or not, is going to be astounding. And I was talking to her about that. I'm like, how are you going to overcome that? And, and that sort of issue. So there's a whole lot of things like that one has to worry about, Ray.
But she's right about one thing. The one thing about the Republican Party that I have to give them their due credit for is they actually let their primaries play out democratically.
Yes.
They don't have a super delegate system. That BS stopgap that the Democrats put there, so they make sure that they have control over the establishment candidate going in. And sometimes it might work where you might get someone like a Barack Obama who was against the grain when he was going against Hillary Clinton, but still, all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing that process play out with less influence from the superdelegates.
As David would allude to, and as we do more of this, Ray, we have to do a lot more of this. And, it's funny because even last night I was on a conference call with somebody who we're talking about doing this stuff in Spanish because that's a huge untapped voter market, if you will, that we have to hit. And if we hit it right, we can start talking those issues that you talk about, those issues that Williamson talks about. If we can get to them before the Republicans fry their minds, or I should say before the conservative, the MAGA, fries their minds.
Well, there's great organizations like I'm just gonna toot the horn real quick, like Texas Organizing Project that does do a lot of jobs.
Yes.
Actually work across.
Actually, I was on the board of that group for a while. So yeah, it's a very good group.
You should come back, Edberto. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's a great group. It's a great group, Ray. But anyhow, my dear brother, anything else you have to say before I jump to Johnny?
Yeah, I just want to say big shout out for Sheila Jackson Lee announcing her bid for mayor. I was at that event on Friday. It was a beautiful event. I saw all my progressive friends. I didn't see you there, but I saw a good bit of my progressive friends there, and it made me feel like I was around family again. I
am going to try to get her in. I did the debate on Wednesday with the 5 that showed up for the Houston mayoral race. She sent in a tape. I wasn't happy with that because I think Sheila Jackson can hold her own, and I want to see her come and hold her own in the different conferences and forums that we intend to have throughout the city for with the different clubs. So I hope she comes out and holds her own because she has the gravitas, as it turns out.
Oh yeah, and Houston feels that. I felt it when I was in that crowd.
Right.
For sure. But you're right. She has to come out. I mean, she's been in Washington for a while, and now she's saying she's ready to come home. So you got to come home. You got to come back to the people. And I think over the next course of the year, we'll see where her energies will.
I'll just tell folks right out. I'm generally not a fan of the establishment, but I really like her. I'll just tell you, and the reason I really like her is and Johnny, I'm coming, but when I went to the convention and I saw the interaction between her and the people in her district, I left there with one, and I got there with one impression, and I left with another when I saw the interaction with community.
Yes, well, I mean, truth be told, I felt like she laid across one of the most progressive agendas I've heard for Houston mayor. I heard some stuff I like personally, so that's one thing. And then I know, another contender will be John Whitmire, and like I said in your Facebook chat, he's a Dixiecrat.
Right. Listen, I could never disagree with that. But just let me take my host hat off for a minute. My 2 contenders currently the 2 folks that I like in the race are 2 women, Edwards and Lee. So there you go.
Well, we're gonna see. We see what the Houston people select.
You have a great one, my dear brother. You take care and you keep listening, keep calling. All right.
Absolutely.
Take care, my friend. All right, let's go to brother Johnny. Johnny, come on in.
Good afternoon, Brother Egberto.
Talk to me, sir.
Quick items in the interest of time. I'd like to just list them quickly.
Yes.
And then you can come at me, and I'll follow that with some practical advice for the audience.
Yes, sir.
Item number 1, TikTok. As far as TikTok is concerned, I think we should apply justice as it should be applied. That is to say, evenly. You don't just go after TikTok. You go after Facebook and all the other social media platforms in this country. Otherwise, it's not justice. It's partisanship. And it's going to be perceived that way by some same morons who are easily offended snowflakes who have guns. Item number 2, Williamson. She won't make it for one reason only. She's to the left of Bernie. And you know what they did to Bernie 2 election cycles in a row? Because we have to get rid of the centrists that dominate the Democratic Party. As long as they are ensconced in place, no progress can be made in this country. We have to literally push them out of office and replace them, populate the Democratic Party with unapologetic, aggressive progressives like the Squad. Then Williamson could be successful, and it won't be a waste of our time. And we should also have ranked choice voting, by the way. Number 3, no apologies from you, Egberto. You don't need to apologize to anybody. I didn't hear you laugh this morning. And if you did, what's the big deal? We are coming across like snowflakes, easily afraid of offending right-wingers, whether they're voters or listeners to left-wing media. This is how nothing changes. So you don't need to apologize for anybody. Do you have anything to say on that?
Well, thank you about that. Let me tell you, you know the methods that I use. I try to be kind to everybody. And my laugh with the person was just like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. And I don't think I did apologize. That you're right about not needing to apologize when somebody says something as foolish as what the person said, because I knew exactly what article the person was reading, Johnny. So no, I didn't apologize to him. And I think what Steve was trying to say is, I want those people to call. I want those people to call.
Trust me, Berto. They're going to call. They're going to call even more now because they can't stand people like me. They want to own me, and I'm okay with that if they think they can do it.
Yeah.
Here's some practical advice. The other day, last week or the week before, somebody on the right called into either your show or maybe Steve's show, and they talked about, we need to have more political parties in this country. And they mentioned the libertarians and Whigs.
Yes.
And I thought, well, number one, libertarians are already a party. They exist. They're on the ballot all the damn time. Plus, they're just another flavor of Republican. So what's the variety in there?
Right.
You're choosing between Coke and Pepsi. That's all you're doing. Here's my suggestion for these people to think about. How about we try no parties for a while?
Now you're talking my game. You see, you mentioned three things, right? I answered the three things. The third, the second one, you talk about we need to get folks, actual progressives into power that really support the people. I am there with you. I don't think there's anything that you said that I possibly could disagree with at all. So, I think we're absolutely on the same wavelength. And the good thing about progressives, and what I try to tell other progressives as well, including you, my brother, is the following. And and this is where I come across. Sometimes you guys get mad at me. I'm going to entertain absolutely everybody, and I'm going to give everybody their opportunity to either enlighten us or make a fool of themselves. And I think that is what disinfectant. That's what, when you use light as a disinfectant, when you expose them. That's why I don't
mind.
Not
like Donald Trump.
Go ahead. Say that again.
Not like Donald Trump, though.
No. You see, Donald Trump. Listen. Here's what happened with Donald Trump, and I want people. Yeah, but hold on, Jenny. This is important, and I want everybody to hear this. Donald Trump. Everybody in the beginning knew Donald Trump was a buffoon and did not understand much and was not very smart. Everybody knew that. People still know that. You heard some of the callers earlier this morning say that. What the media did, what the politicians did, is they made that okay. There's a big difference between, people look up to other politicians. They look up to the media. They look up to professors. They look up to these other people. And when let me finish. When you give Donald Trump plausibility, you give the rank and file, you give the masses permission to accept somebody like that to govern.
I was about to disagree with you until you said plausibility. That's where you're correct.
Yeah.
Because they did not make it okay. What they did was they gave him a halo. They put a halo above his head of being a legitimate candidate, an adult, a mature adult who had some substance, in which he had zero.
Exactly. And again,
they did that. And why did they do that? Why did both the corporate media as well as right-wing media and the leadership of both parties do this?
CBS told you. They told you. CBS told you.
Because of Bernie. Bernie was the only true populist candidate, and they are deathly afraid of socialism, evil socialism.
But you know what else, too? The truth is, Moonves from CBS also said it. He said, Donald Trump is terrible, but man, can he bring us in some money. It's always about capital and money, yeah.
You just made my point. Moonves, if you talked to him privately, he would try to convince you that socialism is not the way, even though you would have to educate him that we already have socialistic policies that rescue capitalism from time to time. Even hedge fund Bunny Hillary Clinton herself on the debate stage with Trump back in the day, dressed in her royal blue corporate pantsuit. She admitted on TV that from time to time, capitalism has to be rescued by socialism. So here's my solution. How about we try no political parties for 1 or 2 election cycles and require all private citizens running for office to stand on their own ground, defend their policies as individuals, and let's see where the free marketplace of ideas takes us.
If you believe in free markets, it's right. Go ahead, Tori. You want to say something?
Yeah, Johnny, I just wanted to chime in and give you a high five on the no political parties. I mean, just at the theoretical level, political parties are anti-democratic because they concentrate power. Anything that concentrates power, whether it's banks or corporations or political parties, it's undemocratic. And then we get to the structural level at the Constitution. We've got, the Constitution creates a special class of super citizens, representatives that, and that's another kind of concentration of power. It divides power up between the 3 branches and this and that, but it also concentrates power. And so we need to rethink how our Congress is a bottleneck on power.
Agree. We're going crazy on the phones.
Before I hang up, I want to give one other gift, if you want to call it, to the listeners.
Go ahead, my dear.
This is from our fellow liberal, our brother on the left, David Packman.
Guys, please, hold on a second. Guys, please call back. We accidentally hung the phone up. Please call back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, I got an email from him the other week, and I haven't linked to it yet. He's got a free, what he calls a white paper on how to talk to your relatives and friends and neighbors about politics and other things in general, how to talk to them, and he gives you practical steps. I think it's 1 or 2 pages long. It's not very long. He calls it a white paper. It's easily read, easy to follow, user-friendly, and
I'm going to have to sue David Packman.
David Packman. K-E-M-A-N.
No, I know David Packman. The reason I said I'm teasing, but I'm saying that because that's the title of my book, man.
Go by way of David Packman?
Yeah, I don't know. Is he really named the paper that?
It's a white paper.
I know, but that's the title of my book, man.
Really? Anyway, on his email, he sends you the email, and there's a link you could click on if you want to download it to your computer. And that's what I intend to do sometime this week, if I can remember to.
Okay, well, anyway, my brother, thank you so kindly for calling. And I got to do some speed reading here to finish up the 2 topics that we had for the program. But, folks, don't forget, if you call, I'll just send you to read the newsletter that I've already written up for the show. But anyhow, thank you, Johnny, for calling in, okay?
Okay, my brother from another color.
All right, my brother. Take care. 713-526-5738. I saw 2 calls come in that we missed. Sometimes we have a little phone problems here. Just give us a call back if you need to say something quick. Right now, I'll continue with our Discord issue real quickly. And I want to say this. I'm going to finish this. Instead of reading it, you can go to politicsandright.com/newsletter to read it. But what I want to say with the TikTok issue is the following. The people, remember I said that the dangers come from within. Our corporate structure did all that is necessary to put us at the behest of China and other countries. We are the ones who chose to build all of our high-tech, the most high technology chips, not here in the United States. We chose to build it offshore in Taiwan, China, and these other places, Malaysia. We chose that. That is what we chose. Our highest form of technology, we chose to send it overseas because we didn't want to pay the American worker. And you want to talk glory, glory, hallelujah, who's patriotic now? You want to talk what economic system really works for you? Let's continue. When it comes to selling of information, all your American companies, our American companies, Facebook, Twitter, all these guys, every time you click something, and I don't care, I don't mind if you want to know where I'm at, all that good stuff, but to believe that TikTok, because it's owned by a Chinese company, will prevent China from having your data, the biggest culprit's not going to be TikTok. The biggest culprit's going to be all those people who want to make money on your eyeballs, which they sell. And you know what? Chinese companies are willing to buy your information. They don't need TikTok for that. They can get the aggregate of Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and all of these entities in one location, all aggregated together and sold to them and served up on a platter. This hoopla about TikTok is a sham. It is about taking out a foreign competitor out of the market. You believe in free markets and you want to get rid of TikTok. You know, I'm going to tell you something about TikTok. I love TikTok. TikTok presented a form, in my opinion, that lends to learning, and it has so much information on there. Of course, everything you should verify. Actually, today I made a mistake on an article I posted at Daily Coast. I corrected it, folks. So anybody who wrote that article at Daily Coast know that I fixed it. But anyhow, it turns out that anybody who wants to get your information, they can. Don't ever forget that they can. Is that going to be somebody coming over real quick? Let's see. Come on, 713. Come on over. You're on.
Oh, hey, Alberto, it's Colby.
Colby, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. I just wanted to touch on this topic about TikTok. And,
Yes, sir.
Privacy stuff. I think that TikTok is just a symptom of the problem.
Yes.
Or not the cause of the problem.
Yes.
I think the real problem is privacy issues, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is if we were to...
Just real quick, Colby, you got about 45 seconds because they're giving me a hard stop. So go ahead, Colby.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say that instead of banning TikTok, we should just change the privacy laws and enforce them across the board.
Agreed.
And if TikTok violates those laws, then we can ban it.
Thank you. And that should apply to not only TikTok, but Twitter and everybody else, in your opinion, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you. You know, I mean, it's amazing how we can come up with sensible policy if we chose to do it sensibly, right, Colby?
That's right. That's hard to find these days.
I know. Well, thank you so kindly for calling in, Colby. I got to get out of here, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Anyway, folks, I hope you got the gist of today's program. You know, we had David Cobb in the beginning. Oh, one quick thing before we go. What, I got about 30 seconds now? Okay, 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Will we ever get tired of this gun issue, folks? Are we tired of seeing our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers shut up? We have to do something about it. I wanted to cover that today. Didn't quite get to it. We'll cover it another day this week. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. Thank you so kindly for your ears. And you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out!